Greetings, everyone. I finally returned. Adrian, Pius, voice of the Imperium, is back on the Vox waves here at the Vox News Network. It's good to be back because, from what I understand, there's been quite a bit of squawking on the air from a couple of wishy-washy, weak-willed individuals trying to sap the will of the Imperium, and they think they can come at Adrian Pius and not catch a verbal rhetorical beatdown. We'll get to that in a moment, but welcome everyone. Just want to give you a little bit of a reminder of how we do things here on the Adrian Pius show. We have Pat, good old Pat, dealing with the calls, and if you have something on your mind that you would like to say to the galaxy, a small donation to help keep us on the Vox waves will get your call on the air. And if you agree with me, then I will applaud your superior intellect for simply accepting everything that I say at face value without any critical thought. And if you disagree with me, I will ridicule you, not allow you to respond, keep that mute button down nice and hard, and explain to everyone why you're wrong, occasionally putting words in your mouth. So, and contrary to what a lot of folks have been saying, I am not captured by the Inquisition. I haven't been captured by Xenos. I am on the air to stay. No one's going to stop me from saying the truth as I see it. And, all right, so let's really get into this now, because I think I'm lowering my crosshairs here on two. They might as well just be one, because we're talking about Cyrus Amani and Kevon Jones, however you say it. Because honestly, I could just talk about them like they're the same person. They're not. There's no difference whether you're talking about visually. Just you got a bald-headed guy with no nose and a bald-headed guy with funny goggles. There's not. They all talk about the same sort of things. And and what are they? They're just talking about some namby-pamby, wishy-washy, can't we all get along nonsense. Nonsense, I'm telling you. If we want to just surrender everything to everyone else in the galaxy, then you want to listen to Cyrus Amani and Kevon Jones. We'll just all hold hands and hand out free money to everyone, give out trophies, tell everyone they're doing a bang-up job, pat ourselves in the back, and then just let everything else in the galaxy roll over the proud history of the Imperium. Nonsense. And you know what? You know what makes me laugh is that these guys think they can compete with the truth of the Adrian Pius show, because we crush them in the ratings at every opportunity. No matter how you slice it, we crush them in it. What's that, Pat? No, you have to have that wrong. The numbers have to be wrong. That's not correct. You're telling me that some Xenos had higher ratings than we did last week. All right, now we're going to be talking about the vast conspiracy that must exist for a Xenos, Kevon Jones, to have higher ratings than me, Adrian Pius, voice of the galaxy, telling the truth of the Imperium as it is, not the way that some no-nose blue Xenos has to say. This is ridiculous. This that my enemies would go to such lengths as to fabricate ratings numbers. We're here about the truth, and the truth is I win all the time, even when evidence proves otherwise. You know, maybe it was just some confusion. Maybe it was his first Voxcast. Maybe it was just some enthusiasm, or maybe we had a lot of perhaps potential crusading expeditions that were interested in finding the location of that particular ethereal. You know, if you take down the ethereal, the towel just folds like laundry. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold up him. I'm going to fold up Cyrus Amani, both of them together. We're going to hang him out to dry. So we're gonna get right into all of the different, because we got a lot of topics. We're going to be talking about the Plague Wars. We've apparently Gilliman's done with the Indomitus Crusade. We've pushed back far enough. Still have the Cicatrix Maledictum. Still have the Imperium Nihilus under siege. But you know what we have to go do? We have to spend important resources saving Macragge from demonic incursion. We're gonna get to that and see the true failure of the Macragge nanny state. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We also got some discussion of abhuman rights. We'll get to that because apparently we have some folks, and this all started with Governor Gregg, and then now everyone's saying, you know what, we're just gonna take down all the traditions, take down all the laws, making the difference between, there's no difference between me and an Ogren. There's no difference between me and a felonid. There's no difference between me and a ratling. There's just none at all. And I will not hear a single word about my height. I am I am in fact a quite tall and robust man. I am been complimented for being tall. Everyone knows that I'm tall. Rumors to the contrary are incorrect. All right, we're gonna get all into this. We're also gonna talk about we're gonna talk a little bit about some tithes. We're also gonna be talking about the real divide in the Imperium. The Imperium is waging thousands of wars, but there's one real one, and we're going to talk about that, and that's the divide between the Puritans, the people who see value in the traditions and legacy of the Imperium, and everyone, the ones who want to throw it all away, the radicals. They just, well, why keep doing things that have been working? Let's just throw it all away. Throw it all away. That's what they want to do, and we're going to talk about that. But before we get started, I want to give a word out from our latest sponsor, the Adrian Pius Bubbleizer. It takes normal, boring ration beverages, and it puts bubbles in them. It's simple to use, easy to assemble, fresh filters, new gasolizer canisters, and monthly service by certified Bubbleizer technicians are all at reduced cost for Adrian Pius listeners. You might be saying, Adrian Pius, there's fizzy drinks of all kinds, easily available and not very expensive in my hab block. Yes, but for how long? How long before the radicals say that you don't need fizzy drinks? Who's to say some tragedy might not whisk away your bubbled drink needs? That's where the Adrian Pius Bubbleizer comes right in. This galaxy is a tough neighborhood to live in, but why not give the gift of bubbles to your family to have in their drinks? Adrian Pius Bubbleizer. Why not? All right. So now that you're all putting in your orders for the Adrian Pius bubbleizer, I'll wait for you to come back, and we're gonna talk about the Plague Wars, because Gilliman was the avenging son, going forth on his Indomitus crusade, and you know what? I was actually pretty pleased with Gilliman. He kind of has the reputation of being a bit of a bureaucrat and trying to just solve problems through governance. And I thought when he kind of got a boot up the backside and put the boot to everyone else's backside, it really got things changing around here. We're gonna mop things up, drive out the Xenos, drive back the ruinous powers, drive back all the heretics, and we're gonna start knocking some heads together. That's what I wanted to see. I was quite frankly impressed. But then, what happens with the Indomitus Crusade? Well, it just ends. And we're just here to. What happens? What has to happen to make it end? Well, apparently, the sons of Gilliman were just not up to the task of defending one of the most resource-rich portions of the Imperium. We're gonna get real into that, but we've got our first caller. Got Pat. Who's this? We got a old man Skeletal on the lines. All right, old man Skeletal, go ahead. Adrian Pius, how can a sun avenge things? It's a star, drivel. But it is but filth born of delusions. I think you're a little confused, but I will say, you did give me money, so yes, you are correct that suns cannot avenge things. But familial sons, I suppose, probably can. But you know what? Probably Cyrus Amani wants you to believe that literal suns can avenge things. That the big glowy things in the sky can avenge things. And that's just how foolish that the followers of Cyrus Amani and the sycophants of Kavan Jones really are. They believe things like that, and I think that Old Man Skeletal has a point that we need to be suspicious of people who believe nonsensical things. All right, so thank you very much, Old Man Skeletal. Getting back to the Plague Wars. So what happened? What started this all off? Well, you have the Primarch, the Demon Primarch Mortarion. You have the forces of Nurgle. You have the Death Guard. You have all manner of Kugath and his demonic underlings, and they're coming in, and they see that wonderful Macragge real estate, and that's what they want to add to Nurgle's garden. So where did they come from? How do they? In a place like Macragge, where apparently there's no cracks in the Macragge, it's all Emperor's finest. Well, why don't you tell me where did the Scourge stars come from? They're in the Macragge sector. Was just no one paying attention to these planets that were festering with demonic taint that they used as a launching point for this invasion? And so, because the Ultramarines were not diligent in their so-called perfect governance of their empire within the Imperium, they let a demonic cursion fester underneath them. And because the Marnius Calgar, he had to be dragged, he ended up getting involved in this mess. He was just involved in Vigilus. How are they getting all over the place? And how are they failing so thoroughly at the places they go to? Can't the emperors, if they're supposed to be the emperor's finest, how come they needed to essentially force Guilliman to stop his Indomitus crusade, to come bail them out? And from what I understand, Guilliman, this may just be rumor, but I'm going to say it as if it's fact. Guilliman was defeated. He was slain by Mortarion. Slain by Mortarion, and Kugath fell into a trap. Who had to bail him out? Had to be the Emperor. Had to be the Emperor. And this just goes to show you, you might say, Adrian Pius, this was a desperate military campaign. The galaxy is rife with suffering, and perhaps you're being too harsh on what ultimately was a successful campaign that dealt a terrible blow to chaos and the ruinous powers. Shouldn't you be praising Guilliman for repulsing this invasion after having successfully driven off so many enemies of the Imperium? Shouldn't you be praising his efforts? And some people might even say you're just using this as an excuse to complain about the same things you always complain about, which is bloated government telling people what you're supposed to do. Right? Look, what we don't need this overbuilt up bureaucracy to run things. We need a government that is mostly laissez-faire. It's mostly a laissez-faire institution that doesn't impose oppressive tithes on its people. And while it's doing that, while it's removing its ability to tithe people, I expect it to still manage to wage thousands of galactic wars simultaneously with massive, costly armies and starfleets. And I think everyone here can agree with that. What's going on, Pat? We got anyone a little quiet? There's some discussions apparently going on. Got some orc traffic. Apparently some filthy Eldar. Why are there so many Xenos listening to this Voxcast? Am I being banned? Is someone in the administratum trying to stifle me from saying the truth? I'm going to assume they are, because that really feeds right in nicely with my persecution narrative. You and me, listeners, we are the truth of the Imperium, speaking our minds, and we're the ones fighting the good fight. It might seem like we're sitting next to our Vox receivers and complaining about things, and you're just listening to someone complaining about things. We might not be out with weapons actually fighting the battles, but we're really fighting the battles. That's what we're doing here. Coming up with opinions and then agreeing with them. That's the real fight. Yes, so someone just said stop thinking about it. Yes, stop thinking about it. Just listen to what I say. It makes things a lot easier. Is that not what the Imperium is built on? Is obedience to the Emperor. Obedience to the Emperor. Don't think about it. Obey the Emperor. And what about the dangers of an open mind? That sounds like Kevon Jones town nonsense. What is the quote? It's an open mind is like a fortress with its gates open and unbarred. No thought, only talking, only getting angry, and blaming others. That's the important thing. That it's not our fault. The important thing is it's the fault of the people we don't like. All right. We're gonna take a little bit of a break before we continue. Not a big one, but we're gonna hear another word from our sponsors. Because one of the things that we really talk about here on the Adrian Pius show are people's concerns regarding the costly tithes that are demanded from us and end up just lining the pockets of corrupt bureaucrats. Just take stuff right off the top. So are you having trouble paying your tithes? Are you suffering from crippling debt? Why not hire the Adrian Pius Certified Guaranteed Authorized Debt Consolidators? We go through the work, we take a look at your debt, we add it all together for you, and tell you how much we owe. And that's pretty much all we do. So if you are deep into debt, why not pay us more money to tell you just how in debt you are? We will also fight the administratum hard to get a reduction on your debt so that you could be paying thousands of thrones less in debt. And I'm legally obligated to say the next bit. Adrian Pius Certified Debt Consolidators do not actually fight the administratum. It's just a figure of speech. You will still have to pay your debt or be forced into multi-generational servitude. All right, so make sure that if you are suffering from crippling debt, utilize Adrian Pius Certified Guaranteed Authorized Debt Consolidators, and soon you will be out of debt and ready to go on with all of the different tasks that you really want to be spending your thrones on. Like supporting this channel, for example. All right, so I think we can come back to the Plague Wars. People don't seem to be arguing with me about that really the Plague Wars are the logical conclusion of the government, because government can't do anything. That it is impossible for people who are in charge to be good at things. It just is. They can't do things right. It's just to line their own pockets. There's not a way for government to be good. Despite, need for an some people might say, well, you need an organization to pool resources and coordinate the vast navies of the Imperium and coordinate laborers to work together, have regulations to make sure that various Mechanicus machine parts are being built properly, that the right amounts of minerals are being mined, that food is being shipped to the places that need it, that there must be some way of accomplishing this. And no, if government just does less, it'll just happen that things will continue to work without any kind of oversight, and it's just people doing whatever. Right. So no more. So I think this is Gilliman is the Emperor's son, and he has done a lot, but I still think you're talking about the main problem with Macragge is the bloated Macragge state. That's the reason why things went bad in the Plague Wars, ignoring the fact that they eventually went good and the Imperium was victorious ultimately. If you just look at the facts that prove the things that you want to believe, then you're never wrong. And that's kind of the most important thing. It's just never, ever being wrong and sounding convincing. quiet day on the phones. It's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. It's nice when everyone just agrees with me. No one's challenging me. No one's coming in here with what. I'm a little disappointed in you. No Cyrus Amani sycophants coming in. No Kevon Jones brainwashed drones. The Jones drones. How about that? That's what we'll call them. We'll call them the Jones drone. Now, if I can just figure out something that. All right, let's go with. Who are the Cyrus? The Cyrus virus. That's the listeners to Cyrus Amani are. The Cyrus virus and the Jones drones. Ah. Well, we got some rumblings. I think I hit a nerve. We got one somebody coming in trying to back up Cyrus Amani. Cyrus Amani isn't fit to fetch Pat a drink. Huh? How about that one, Pat? Wouldn't you like Cyrus Amani just making sure we all had sandwiches and drinks? You're right. He'd probably mess that one up too, huh? Put in a huge bureaucracy to ration out bread slices and smoked grox meat. All right. You got one Cyrus Amani, one voice, just one. Not surprised it's only one. Maybe we're gonna go into a topic that I know is gonna tick off the Cyrus Amani crowd and probably the Kevon Jones, because what doesn't make them mad? What do they not complain about the Tau? Only they're the only ones that know how to do anything. It's only the Ethereals that know how to do anything. Nonsense. All right, we're gonna move on to the next topic, and I think this is popping up recently, especially because of the Governor Greg situation. For those of you who are not familiar with the Governor Greg situation, there was on Coram Pere 5, there was a rebellion. The planetary governor was overthrown, and they decided to institute democratic elections. And the new governor, the ruler of an entire planet, the overseer of a lot of important imperial resources, is now in the control of an Ogren by the name of Greg. So of course, your radicals are all up in arms about this. They think this is great, that the oppressor's been thrown down, that they've put an Ogren who doesn't really do anything in charge. And I do appreciate that government not doing things, but now this is the bad part of this, is that we're now talking, the radicals are now talking about abhuman rights. And they think that we're being too harsh on our mostly human cousins. Why can't we share the Imperium more? The Cyrus Amani crowd would just make everything equal. Why not? Everyone's equal. Everyone's the same. Just put an Ogren in every Scala. Put a Ratling on every bucketball team. Why not just give a trophy to everyone to go with it? Now, I know some Cyrus Amani and Kevon Jones sympathizers who might be saying, "Oh, Adrian, that's not a fair assessment of our position. We just want better treatment for people who serve on the front lines with the Astra Militarum and spill their blood in the name of the Emperor." Baloney. That is a bunch of grade F rot worm baloney. You either keep abhumans living in squalorous sums, or you treat abhumans as if they were no different from true humans. There's no reasonable compromise or accommodation that can be made. That's it. It's simple. There's no middle ground. If there was middle ground, I couldn't yell about it. I couldn't yell that one side was objectively correct. All right, Pat, what do we have? Old Man Skeletal's back on the line. All right. What is it? What does he got to say? All right, you're on the line, Old Man Skeletal. Surprise! You have activated my trap card. Now that you've acknowledged the Cyrus Amani fans, I am obligated to reveal myself. You can never win now, especially since now you have to reveal your secret body What? I think that was a smart cutoff there, Pat. That was top notch. He was clearly going to spew some sort of heretical falsehood. It's a good thing that he can't talk now, and I can just characterize his position for him. But clearly he was going to spout some sort of heretical nonsense that is clearly representative of the opinions of Cyrus Amani, who, of course, is a heretic and a traitor and should be destroyed at all costs. And I will not hear any more of those wild conspiracy theories that Cyrus Amani and I work at the same station and just benefit from our back and forth bickering, where we're both able to make money off of that. Just absolute nonsense. So getting back to the I was on a roll. Yeah, that abhuman rights. You can't compromise on this. Things have to remain the way they are. We can't acknowledge that Ogrins and Ratlings have important talents that could be utilized and are valuable to the Imperium. And perhaps if they got better accommodation, they could be better utilized. There's just no compromise or accommodation that can be made. That's it. It's simple. But with these abhuman rights folks going, Governor Greg, that story, that thing that we think is kind of funny, that's going to become the norm. Every one of our planetary governors will be Ogrins. That's the next step. And then what's the next step after that? Space Marine chapters will be forced to accept only Ratlings as new recruits. That's absurd, and this is a completely fair characterizations of the views that people who disagree with me. Yes, feels so good to get this mad about something that I am so right about. What's that, Pat? I guess we were talking about Governor Greg. Yeah, and look, this is all right. So we got someone bringing up the Coram Pere cucumber crisis, and we knew it was going to happen because that is the flawed policy of Greg the Ogren, because he has a pickle. They now have a pickle-centric economy. And where does it all end up going? It just ends up getting funneled up to Governor Greg and his lackeys. There have been accusations of hoarding pickles, of price gouging, of creating false scarcity. Now, these are all accusations that I have no evidence for. It's not even clear that this crisis is actually happening. But I'm talking to people who are on scattered across a galaxy with extremely poor communication and information. So you're just going to have to accept what I have to say as being true. And really, the story of Governor Greg confirms what I've been saying. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there are pickle wars. If this doesn't this could threaten pickle supply lines across the Imperium. And we all know that pickled meats and pickled vegetables of various kinds are essential to keeping our fighting men and women on the front lines fed. And so the I'm getting myself all worked up. You gotta give me a second here, folks, because that's what this really is all about. Is that my enemies? Some people might say I create these narratives to that no matter what the situation is, it's the fault of people who disagree with me politically. And I would like to say that I don't do that. That's what Cyrus Amani does. Everything that he says apparently is my fault. He says, no, we're not treating people equally and fairly. We're not spending endless amounts of money on things. We're not spending our money on cuddle centers for the needy. We're just nonsense. It's just waste. It's all a waste. And that's what the Puritans want to change the way we've always done things, and they want to replace it with something that saps the strength of the Imperium. Now, some people are saying you're getting way too. I'm seeing some discussion. Pat's talking on the Vox lines, and apparently everyone's confused. They're saying, "Well, it's not pickles that they eat. It's corpse starch. Those are the rations that they eat." Listen, they wouldn't just have to eat corpse starch if the pickle production was in line. If the radicals in the Imperium weren't obstructing pickle supply lines, they wouldn't have to just eat corpse starch. Come on, you got to put two and two together. So we're hearing about what do we got? A cousin died on agri-world to keep heretics away from our pickles. See, we're in the midst of a pickle crisis. We are in the midst of a pickle crisis, and some people might say, Adrian, Pius, half of the galaxy is behind a veil of warp energy. The Emperor's light cannot reach them. We're having catastrophe after catastrophe across the galaxy. Are you sure that pickles are really the thing to get upset about? And I'm going to say yes. This is the thing that I've decided to get really mad about and kind of attribute all of society's ills to the thing I don't agree with. Come on, people. I got a question. This is a pretty simple one. I got a question floating around of what I think of the Kevon Jones show. I think anyone who has to think about it is a heretic and a traitor and might as well go off to the re-education camp in Tauland to just remove your nose and go paint yourself blue if you want me to actually think and consider the point of view of a Xenos and an enemy to the Imperium. But let's talk, because you know what? Kevon Jones, who absolutely did not beat me out in the ratings, absolutely what it did not happen. What he talks about is just passive nonsense. Figuring out ways to get along. It's the suggestion that maybe we shouldn't be fighting everyone all the time forever, and ourselves, and also other people that are also part of ourselves. That we shouldn't just be a miserable pile of useless people, and we should find things that to make ourselves feel fulfilled. That he thinks that's the best way to avoid falling to the ruinous powers. The way that you survive in this galaxy is by never changing, not adapting, not advancing, not learning new things, not accepting people or aliens that are different from us. The way we keep going, the way we achieve victory, is by doing the same thing that we have been doing for the past 10,000 years. Right? Come on now. Come on now. We are not, this is not a place for progress. That's what the radicals want. They want, let's change things. Let's achieve progress. Let's do. Do you know what happens every time someone tries to achieve some sort of progress? What do you get? Let's get some progress going on, and then you have Men of Iron. Then you have abominable intelligence. Boom. Oh, we have progress. We now have humans who have psychic abilities, and boom, demonic invasion because we're not keeping this under control. Or what about where maybe we should learn about these different Xenos races and maybe we can come to some kind of accord. And then what happens is the Xenos backstab us and billions of people die. We hold on to the truths that we've always held on to, and they have served us well. Now, some Cyrus Amani or Kevon, I guess we're going to focus on Kevon Jones. Kevon Jones and his little Tau Utopia and his little sept. His little sept they would say that they have advanced meteorically over the past several thousand years to have technology that surpasses the Imperium today, and they live a much more comfortable life, a much more peaceful life, and they're able to survive because they are a people united by ideology, not because they're all part of the same species and kill everything else. That might be what the Tau say, but that's bad. It's a bad thing to look. The way things are done is you pile countless numbers of people onto a planet. You build enormous industrial and residential mega constructs. You pile more people into them. You strip all the resources out of the planet. Build enormous world-destroying engines of war, and then you just leave those people. That's the human way of doing things. We're not. The way of the Tau is is the way of rendering humanity a servile race to a bunch of weaklings who can't even fight properly in melee combat. Some people are pointing out that Cyrus Amani fought against the Tau, and honestly, there's indisputable evidence that he did serve in the campaign of Lagan and liberating that system. But that damages my ability to criticize him and say that he is soft and is in league with the Tau. And some people might also point out that I did not serve in the Astra Militarum, and who am I to judge the bravery and service of a human being who has? And I think we really need to do is we need to ignore those things and focus on the things that confirm the things I already believe. Exactly. Anyone who says anything else otherwise is objectively wrong. That is correct. That is objectively correct. All right, now we're rolling at this point. We have a fair number of loyal listeners on the Vox waves receiving the truth, the real imperial truth, not the false imperial truth of the emperor is not really a god. We shouldn't worshiping the emperor. Progress. No, we're talking the real hard-hitting facts here. No namby-pamby Xenos hand-holding, no coddling the people of the Imperium. Getting out of my way so I can make money. That's what we all want. We want the corrupt bureaucrats, who I'm also going to say are radicals, from taking the hard-earned wealth away from Voxcast, from political Voxcasters, and from the listeners of political Voxcasters. As if we've got some heretics in the chat now. There's people saying that the emperor is not a god. Well, if the emperor is not a god, why? How do you explain the miracles? How do you explain the living saints? Would not a god use so much religious imagery and bless his faithful so often? You answer me that one, Cyrus Amani supporters. You answer me how can the emperor protect if the emperor is not a god? Does the emperor protect? If the emperor protects, and he protects the galaxy, if it is through his will that we continue to strive on, then he must be divine. All right, we're not just having pretend heretics who pretend that they are supporting something that the emperor apparently said or something or other. All right, Pat, you're getting the names and locations of these heretics that are calling in and praising the ruinous powers, right? Yeah, go ahead and send that to the Ministorum. Yeah, send it to the Ministorum, send it to the Astra Militarum, send it to the Imperial Navy. Give them all that information. One by one, this show will purge the galaxy of enemies of the Imperium and people who don't agree with what I say. All right, you've got me worked up. Now we got Xenos and heretics and all manner of people on the lines, and I'm going to remind everyone who's listening that we do take calls. So if you want to give a small donation and really speak your mind. We'll take you live on the air, and then I will agree with you because you agree with me, or I will explain to you very carefully why you're wrong. All right, but right now I think we ought to get some let's get some plain and simple facts going on here. Why the Xenos and the heretic are I feel like I have to explain this, but we have Cyrus Amani listeners on here. Why do you never cooperate with the Xenos? Why do you never entertain the thoughts of the ruinous powers? All right, let's start simple. Orcs. Orcs are stupid, barbarous beings. They don't wash, and they have primitive technology of just smashed together things that other races that are less that are much smarter than and superior to orcs. Orcs can't do anything on their own. They rely on the productivity of others, and they just leech off of that. So orcs, I don't think this is a difficult thing to articulate. Orcs are they're just a dead end of stupid barbarism. All right, let's talk about the Eldar. They apparently the wise millions of year old race that feels smart enough to tell us how we ought to be doing things and what happens every single time we cooperate with these Xenos. Whenever somebody makes the error of cooperating with the Xenos, and none of you say that a Primarch comes back to life. I don't believe that. I don't think anyone else ought to believe that there was any kind of. But if it was Gilliman, who knows? Maybe there is some truth to that. But what did the Eldar do? What did the Eldar do? They were the top of everything. The Necrons went to sleep. The Orcs degenerated into Orcs, and they kept them clean in the galaxy. There wasn't anything really going on. Humans we weren't out in the stars yet, but you had millions of years of Eldar soul running of the galaxy. Great job there, Eldar. You were solely in control. You were able to shape this galaxy any way you wanted because the Emperor hadn't risen up to take it all back from you. No one made you fail. The Imperium is beset on all sides because we have so many enemies. What enemies did the Eldar have? None. They're their own enemy. They ruined everything. Ruined everything for everyone forever because they are a bunch of degenerate, pointy-eared weirdos who for all of their terrible decisions still get to live forever. Just stick to your tiny your little craft worlds and drift on the edge of the galaxy. Don't bother us, or I wouldn't mind if they were just all gone. Get rid of the craft worlds, get rid of the Exodites, get rid of the murder goblins in Komara. Wipe them all out. So that's what you want. You want to be a bunch of failures, then you be the Eldar. Speaking of failures, let's talk about the Tau. What are the Tau? The Tau are the opposite of the Eldar in one sense, is that they're very young and naive and stupid. They're not old and stupid. They're young and stupid. What do they want to do? They want to talk to everyone. They want to be friends with everyone. They want to have alliances and negotiations, and it's all just a ploy to get you to open your mind to their so-called greater good, where you do what they say. And we are human beings, and we control ourselves. Now, some of you might say, what is there really that much meaningful difference of living under Tau rule or slaving your life away in a factotum as a generational serf? I forget what your point was, but the point is that the Tau are the weak, soft tendencies that get you killed in this galaxy. They want to talk, and talking is what prevents you from killing, and we really need to be doing an awful lot of killing. That's the way that we solve the problems here. We're not perpetuating problems by just killing everything and not cooperating. That's what the Tau want. The Tau want everyone to just hold hands and get along. Sorry, I'm not holding claws or whatever, or proboscis, or I'm not touching Xenos or heretics. That's simply the way it is. So what do you got? We've been through Orcs, we've been through Eldar, we've been through. What do you want to? You want to be? You think you're gonna listen to the Gene Stealer cults? The great four-armed emperor, the great what? The great what? The great buffet. All right, so you're an extra galactic threat that's coming here to eat everything. For what? To make more of yourselves? To go do what? To go eat more. That's what your great hive mind has decided to do? This great hive mind, intellect beyond intellect. You think this is sustainable? Why? Why any of it? I mean, some people say that living is just passing things through your digestive system and then dying at the end of it. There's a whole lot more to existence as life in humanity. You get to do so much more. You can listen to Voxcasts. What do Tyranids get to do? Nothing. They're just fodder. They're just fodder to eat and make more fodder. Why? It's just a waste of time. Waste of everyone's time. And it's a nuisance. You want bugs, call an exterminator. All right, so extremely pointless. All right, so we have the Necrons. Some people are saying, well, the Necrons built the Necron tier built a powerful galactic empire, have technology that's so far advanced, and they undying bodies that are impossible to destroy, and they have weapons that can atomize you. Yeah, but what's the point of what are you gonna do? You live under Necron rule? They don't like themselves. They're not gonna like you. What kind of existence is that? And some people might say, well, you see, the Necrons defeated the old ones. They were the most powerful. It's all myths and legends, and it's all a really long time ago. What are they now? They're a bunch of squabbling dynasties that are all slowly going crazy because they don't have very good robot brains. Just a bunch of weirdos that are unhappy, going crazy, and turning into flesh-flaying weirdos. Come on now. Come on, listeners. You know how it is. Got a lot of voices going on. Not a whole lot of people calling in, but that's all right. That's all right. Here on the Cyrus Amani show, we have, or Cyrus Amani show, the Adrian Pius show. I was mad. It was in my head. I'm mad about Cyrus Amani. This is the Adrian Pius show, and anyone who would mistake this for the Cyrus Amani show should be lobotomized and turned into a servitor immediately. Sorry, it was on my mind and I was upset. All right. Can you blame me for thinking about Cyrus Amani when talking about all of the different horrible things going on in the galaxy. Can you blame me? All right, so what do we got? We got the Necrons, just sleep all the time and then wake up to only be miserable and fight amongst yourselves? To maybe... Why the Necrons? Just why? Why? All right. So what else we got? Do we have anything else? Did we go through all of them? Oh, yes. Good old ruinous powers. Good old ruinous powers. All right, now you got your many flavors of terrible ideas. All right, let's start off with the general thing of it. Chaos Undivided. We'll follow the will of Chaos Undivided. They are the true primordial forces that guide everything. All right. What kind of stupid do you have to be to believe that there's a unified chaotic will? They're always fighting themselves. And you know, maybe the Imperium's always fighting itself, and chaos is just a reflection of human psychic thoughts and feelings and desires, and the chaos gods are just our own thoughts. What was my point here? Right, the point is that Chaos Undivided is the biggest contradiction in terms that you could possibly make. Nothing could be more divided than chaos. Well, was it the will of chaos to fail 12 times? Apparently that was what chaos wanted to do. Bunch of losers. If there's anything you can say about the ones that chose one of the disgusting warp spawn that they call gods, at least they chose a side and fight against the other ones. They're not pretending that they're some united force, that they're not just a bunch of degenerate weirdos skulking about in the warp, waiting to emerge covered in tentacles and spikes so they can just blaspheme and murder. Where's nonsense? All right. So that's Chaos Undivided. All right. Moving on to where we start. What's the oldest one? All right, Khorne. Who falls to Khorne? What do you do? You're mad all the time and you kill. Where is the appeal in that? And you'd think that being mad all the time, being kind of a war deity, being I'm going to make you so powerful you can kill anything, you'd think they wouldn't be such losers. You'd think they'd conquer more stuff, being the god of conquering stuff. All right, we got another on the Vox lines. What we got, Pat? All right, we got Neil Rayson. Go ahead, Neil Rayson. The Holy Inquisition is watching. Oh, well, think you will find that everything is in order and proper. Hopefully that's not a... We got any word on that, Pat? That's not one of the radical inquisitors, is it? We're very well by the Puritan branch of the inquisitors. We're not... You please check up on that, Pat. Please find out, Pat. Oh, all right. Yeah, no. Nothing. We're just discussing how. Yes, we are discussing how terrible chaos is. Can't be heretical. Yeah. What is the point of being a big angry loser? Angron was a big angry loser. His sons are big angry losers. They've been nothing but big, angry losers. The only time any of them were interesting was when they were still loyal. All right. So what's the next one? Tzeentch? Now, we've already talked about, what does it give you? Knowledge, secrets, magic? Heresy, 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 and more heresy. You want to know, you can just look at the Primarchs that fell to these lies and see how stupid the whole thing is. We had Magnus the Red, most powerful psyker besides, the God Emperor himself. Apparently, maybe Malcador. We never had a face off there, but what Magnus the Red was fed lies of Tzeentch for so long, and where did it get him? Got him a broken back and a burnt down and a non-existent home planet. Got the wolves sicked on him. And ruined everything. What did Magnus do? I've said this before, I'll say it again. People say Magnus did nothing wrong. What did Magnus do right? What did Magnus ever do anything right? All right. Once again, Neil Rayson we got another donation from the kind Inquisitor, so hopefully he's pleased with what we got. Got thumbs up, Pat? Or not? No Exterminatus coming, are they? All right, got another phone call on the line. Necro King Derek. Nergal loves your show. Please be mean to Tzeentch. Ugh. Pat, you might want to disinfect those your equipment after that one. Oh, come on. There's already flies in the studio. All right, Pat, take care of that. Don't worry, foul, pestilent one. We're gonna get to you soon. Just because Tzeentch is garbage doesn't mean that the god of garbage isn't more garbage. All right, and let's talk about so working for Tzeentch. What did Tzeentch do? All Tzeentch does is lie to you and ruin his followers. Because what happened to, because it was by his curse that the flesh change happened. It was by his lies that the rubrics were made and their essence and their bodies reduced to nothing. It is he who tricked and enslaved Magnus, who is apparently some serious denial about this. All right, we got Space Marines coming in. They're coming in to cleanse, so hopefully that'll deal with. All right, take it easy. Just keep the mask on for now, Pat. Apparently, Nurgle Pox is still up and out there. Now we're working on it. But we're not. You know what? I'm not afraid. Not afraid because we know the Emperor protects, and no matter how many Chaos, Xenos, mutants, Cyrus Amanis, or Kevon Joneses come up here, try to shut us down. We're going to keep talking. We're going to keep telling the truth. We're going to keep giving you, the good, smart, intelligent people of this Imperium who are tired of the lies, we're going to keep telling you the truth as we see it. And the truth is that that we really need to be concerned about our being able to pay our tithes. So if you're suffering from crippling debt, you should hire the Adrian Pius certified, guaranteed, authorized debt consolidators. And what they do is they really take a look at your debt, add everything all together, and then they tell you how much that you owe. And that's basically all they do. Now, if you are deep in debt, why not pay us some more money to tell you how in debt you are and put everything into one insurmountable pile for you to look at in despair? And we promise that we will fight the Administratum hard to get a reduction on your debt so that you could be paying thousands of thrones less on your debt. And as per legal obligation, Adrian Pius certified debt consolidators do not actually fight the Administratum. It is merely a figure of speech. You still have to pay your debt or will be forced into multi-generational servitude. All right, little word from our sponsors, and now we're really gonna let's get to old Stinky. I don't think there's a worse brand management than Nurgle, than the filth of that follow Nurgle. Just look at them. Does that look like anything anyone wants to be a part of? Disease, pestilence, bloated, rotting bodies, shambling, brainless hordes, rot of every kind, your lungs full of 18 different kinds of disgusting insect colonies that have laid eggs in there? What could possibly appeal to Nurglings, to those that follow Nurgle? The only thing I can see is that they were already repulsively hideous individuals that nobody liked anyway. So honestly, there wasn't much to change. And if you're gonna be a loathsome, filthy monstrosity that spews disease and pestilence everywhere, you might as well have some company, huh? Might as well have some company, eh? You degenerate heretics. Pat, we're sure they're not. There's no plague ships above us or anything like that, no? Plague ships, inquisitorial vessels, Xenos, Necrons. Everyone's trying to stop Adrian Pius. And the more people trying to stop you, you might say, well, maybe you're doing something wrong if everyone's trying to kill you. Nope. If everyone's trying to kill you, clearly you must be really, 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 really telling the truth. That's the only explanation. It's not that you're a provocative individual who draws a lot of attention to yourself because that's how you make a living. That's how you make money. By being a provocative individual. No, it's because they hate me. What is the ancient Terran phrase? I believe the scholars still quote, very obscure. They hate me because they ain't me. Truer things have not been said. Now let's move on to Slaanesh, the youngest of the ruinous powers, and if you really want to be a loser, you're born from a bunch of other losers, because that's just what Slaanesh is. You got the loser Eldar who threw everything away, ruined everything, churned up the warp, broke it all, and what did they? You were what is it? How much more loser are you to be created by a bunch of losers? That is what Slaanesh is. A loser made by a bunch of losers who attract people who are even more losers. Because what does Slaanesh offer? Offers pleasure, right? That's the big thing. And I don't know about you, but my idea of a good time is not a demon covered in claws and really sharp teeth and an angry, unpleasant disposition. I enjoy a relaxing tanning session on a paradise world. That sounds like a fun time. What's a fun time for Slaaneshis? Doing every drug all at once, driving vehicles as fast as they can, listening to music that would make their heads explode. Come on now. Everyone knows you do drugs one at a time. Losers serving a loser created by losers. And from what I understand, Slaanesh is the punching bag of all the other ruinous powers, and I can't say I'm surprised. The only ones who get bullied by Slaanesh are the Eldar. And how pathetic are they? How pathetic are they? So that's it. I've just gone through the entire galaxy and proved without a doubt why I'm right and countless quadrillions, quintillions of other life forms are stupid and wrong. This is this is what I keep coming back to. It's not hard. Nothing is hard. Everything is simple if you just listen to me. Because the truth is, the answer to everything is do what we've been doing. Do what we've been doing. Because that has been what has served the Imperium best. Now, some of you might say it's through the efforts and sacrifice of extraordinary people that have given their lives to keep the Imperium afloat. And the teeming masses who chant mantras and maintain the Imperium status quo don't so much contribute to its strength. They mostly it's just an opiate for the masses to keep them from causing problems and keep the gears of the Imperium running. And blind adherence to these tenets is just to keep the populace out of trouble. And what we should really be doing is trying to strive to achieve new greatness and not just hold on to the husk of the past. And that is ridiculous. That is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. It's to the past. The past is our future. And if you look at how things have gone in the past, I'm just going to say they've gone fine. And I'm going to ignore any examples where they don't. Let's take another break, because whenever you are getting worked up, when you look at the galaxy and you see the countless trillions of human beings who suffer day in and day out, and the forces arrayed against the mighty emperor of mankind, one of the things that is, that can get you down a little bit. And what can really brighten your day is the Adrian Pius bubbleizer. It takes, what it does is it takes normal, boring, ration beverages and it puts bubbles in them. It is easy to use, simple to assemble, and fresh filters, new gasolizer canisters, and monthly service by a certified bubbleizer technician will all be at reduced cost for Adrian Pius listeners. Now, you may be saying, Adrian Pius, there are fizzy drinks of all kinds available and not very expensive in my hab block. Yes, but for how long? Let's say that you are utilizing one of the Adrian Pius never fail bunkers during a terrible attack, and you're protecting yourself and your family. Are you going to just be able to leave and find bubbly drinks to when you are under attack by the various enemies of the Imperium? No. Who's to say that some tragedy might not whisk away your bubbled drink needs? And that's where the Adrian Pius bubbleizer comes in. The galaxy is a really tough neighborhood to live in, but why not give your family this wonderful gift in these hard times of bubbles in their drinks? All right. Little quiet, little slow today, Pat. How long do I have to stay on the air to be able to say that I did better than Kevon Jones? We're getting to the hour and a half mark. A little bit farther than that, a little bit farther. Well, how much more truth do these people need? Well, I'm just going to have to keep on giving them the truth as I see it until everyone sees the truth as I see it. And you know what? I think there's going to be people that don't accept what I have to say. That there are people who are so stuck in their wrong ways of thinking that they're your Cyrus Amanis and so forth. I lay things out as simply as I can, because simple ideas and solutions to problems are the only way that things get solved. All right, Pat, we've got our one of the lamenters on the line. Go ahead, Lord Space Marine.
We ordered our never-fail bunkers some time ago. Where are they?
Now, I'm going to have to direct you to Never Fail, the company. They're going to handle any kind of customer complaints. And we've had some issues when again, this is not I am not the company. The company just pays me to use my name. The company, as far as I know, has been dealing with some supply issues, and I haven't been given details on it, and I don't have any information, and I'm just speculating. But I am convinced that the enemies of me, Adrian Pius, your Cyrus Amanis, and so forth, have likely been interfering with our customers' ability to get never fail bunkers. And honestly, the only solution is to purchase more never fail bunkers. Look, if the solution to the galaxy's problems are simple, you listen to the Adrian Pius show. You learn the things you need to know. Armed with that knowledge, you can own the rads. Anytime they bring up their nonsensical arguments, you can shout a lot louder than they can. And you do that. You buy never fail bunkers. You invest in plasteel. You get the Adrian Pius bubbleizer. And once you've spent all that money and you find that you're in debt, you can make use of the Adrian Pius certified, guaranteed, authorized debt consolidators. They're incredibly official, and they are going to be the ones who help you get out of this debt that you have somehow accrued despite purchasing all of my products to help make your life better. I would blame the radicals on that one. I would blame Xenos. I would blame heretics. I would blame everyone except for your own decisions. Yeah, and your own financial choices. That is absolutely. I mean, I would blame the financial decisions of people that didn't agree with me. They're not responsible people, but you all are who are my supporters, and not just the hate listeners. You are intelligent individuals who know how to manage your money, and it's only through external threats and conspiracies that you end up in these unfortunate situations. And that's when the Adrian Pius certified, guaranteed, authorized debt consolidators can really help you out by just telling you what the lump sum of all of your debt is. All right. So we got any good? Let's see if we got any good questions going on. Can sign autograph for Du Bois. Not in the habit of negotiating with Xenos. All right, well, Lord Lamenter is coming back on the line. Pat, go ahead and put him on.
Actually, we don't know your view on us. What is it? Even from that war.
All right. Well, so the Lamenters, the sons of Sanguinius, and we've got the here's I'm gonna lay down some truth on you, and my Lord Space Marine, these are some kind words to help guide you in this unfortunate galaxy. You all have been, I think that you have been taken in by some of the friendlier sounding radical ideas that you put the lives of civilians first. You put your trust in people readily, and that is what has people say you're cursed. The Lamenters are cursed, and the galaxy's cursed, and just bad things happen. Curse, curse, curse. And I think that the unfortunate events that have befallen this particular chapter of Space Marines is the result of not knuckling down, and this is what happens when you let just a little bit of the soft ideas of the radicals influence your behavior. That if you were to be more callously ruthless in the execution of the Emperor's enemies, and maybe not shed too many tears for or get too buddy with someone that says something nice to you once in a while. You guys got to toughen up. That's what has to happen. You guys toughen up, and you know what? I bet you'll see that you're toughen up. Don't trust the soft-hearted words of the radicals, and I bet that things will turn around for the Lamenters, and in 1,000 years, people will be saying, "What curse?" People will be saying, "What curse?" We got to have less lamenting and more. We don't want to lament. We want to crush. Maybe the crushers, huh? The Sanguinius, the sons of Sanguinius, the crushers, huh? Pat, I don't care if you think it sounds stupid, Pat. Oh, come on. That sounds great. Who doesn't like things that crush other things? Especially when it's the enemies of the Emperor. What is wrong with having a name like that? Yes, exactly. Toughen up and get back in your never fail bunker. That's going to be what defeats the enemies of the Emperor. Making sure you're debt free, investing in plasteel, making sure you have your bubbleizer to make sure you're providing what your family needs. Bubbleized drinks. These are the things that are really going to guide the Imperium into a golden age. Blind adherence to tradition, blind adherence to things I say, and expressing how enthusiastically you support these ideas by supporting Adrian Pius and purchasing Adrian Pius products. And what's the way to failure, of course, is the Cyrus Amani way of doing things. I mean, what happened in Lagan? People will say he fought against the Tau. Well, who fell to the Tau to begin with? All right, we got the Lord Lamenter back on the line. All right, you got my advice, Lord Lamenter, but go ahead. Your support is very appreciated.
Sir Pius, hear me. I am splitting my fleet to protect you and Cyrus Amani, to protect you both from Trazen the Infinite.
I appreciate your protection, but let's be honest here. Is Cyrus Amani really worth it to me? What's that, Pat? When we talk badly about Cyrus Amani, we get ratings. So if he goes away, my rival goes away, and we don't we lose the guy that is the reason that everything's wrong in the galaxy, right? Well, maybe we could be the big man on this one. All right, my Lord Space Marine. I suppose we should thwart the Xenos plot, whatever it is, because it's possible that Cyrus Amani clearly in league with Necrons. Huh? Yeah, see, Pat nailed it. Huh? Clearly in league with Necrons. That's why Trazen's seeking him, whereas I am being sought by the Necrons because I speak the truth about their lies. And I don't want to hear any comments about the numerous never fail bunkers that have mysteriously found themselves that have been found in the possession of and use on Necron tomb worlds. We're not going to discuss that, and I will not address any accusations that we unscrupulously use rogue traders to essentially launder money from Xenos to get that wealth. That's nonsense, ridiculousness, and I'm quite frankly not going to address it except to scoff at that idea. There seems to be an awful lot of activity in my system, but can you be surprised when you speak the truth as often as I do? All right, listeners. So this is going to be a slightly different thing. I'm gonna go to the phones, and if you have topics that really need to be addressed, like issues that I really need to talk about, that I need to bring some of the light of truth to, then I will do what I will answer those questions in a way that's gonna neatly fit into my current narrative, adjusting the things I say to deal with changing circumstances is not something I'm very interested in doing. So we're gonna ignore that one. We got more debates going on. We got orcs, and we got Necrons, and we got just everyone trying to stop the truth of Adrian Pius spreading throughout the galaxy. That's what we got here. That's the way to interpret all of these Xenos around. It's when the Xenos are around my enemies, it's because they're in cahoots with them. When the Xenos are around me, it's because they're trying to stop me. Because I just am the paragon of what is good and righteous and correct about the Imperium. And it's only through the actions of your Cyrus Amanis and your radicals that things go wrong. That's what's happening. This is the fight for the soul of the Imperium. All right, so let's take. So you know what? This might be relevant because I think people have been discussing this recently. That there's an upsurge in Vox wave traffic, and particular kind of heresy. I don't know if you've heard of them. No one really should hear them because they don't really exist. This is, if you want the biggest. So we've talked all about the ruinous powers. And you know what? I forgot one. And can you really blame me? Can you really blame me for getting the most forgettable of the ruinous powers? Not even really one of the ruinous powers. More like, I don't know, an annoyance power, a petty power, the power that people forget because who cares? I'm talking about, have you ever heard of malice? Anyone hear of malice or care about malice? Some people say malal, but apparently you're not allowed to say malal. No malal. Only malice. All right, whatever. Doesn't matter. Malice or malal, nobody cares because it's nothing. All right, we got Miserere Nobis coming in. And he's got an important message for us, apparently. You see, chemicals in the warp turned the squigs gay. Appreciate that, Miserere Nobis, bringing an important fact to my listeners of the dangers of squigs and warp and just all manner of that is probably the most intelligent comment that we have gotten here today. And you know what? It's that kind of comment that we really, the phone call that we really need to balance out the complete nonsense that is malice. So let's actually talk about what malice is. Now that we've been buoyed by Miserere Nobis' call, let's talk then. Let's do it. Let's get into it. What is malice? So malice is the god of nihilism. And what is more sad than a god of nihilism that exists? Huh? And what's sadder than that is following the god of nihilism. What is the point? Well, the point is pointlessness. It's if you have given up on everything, if everything, I don't get it, folks. I don't get it. If you don't think things should exist, why do you exist? If you don't think things ought to exist, why should things why do you exist? You're a contradiction in and of themselves. Now what is the point of what does that end up being? Apparently there's a fallen group of space marines. They are chaos space marines, the sons of malice, and they're dedicated to fighting the Imperium and the forces of chaos. I don't think can there be a more useless pursuit than that? What is the point of deliberately being hated by everything? The forces of existence, someone calls it. There's no forces of existence. Stuff just exists. It just does. It's not going to stop existing because you don't want it to. All right, we got Old Man Skeletal on the line.
We exist to make you not exist. Then we stop existing. Simple as.
Well, Old Man Skeletal, I did not take you for a malice enthusiast. This is a change of pace. But we are not about to talk about how that makes any kind of sense. Existing to make other things not exist and then not exist yourself. That may sound like it's logical, but It's not. I prefer to characterize it the way I do. Coming into existence to make things not exist. How about you just don't exist? It's not hard to not exist. You just don't exist. That's it. See, who's an enthusiast? What's a malice? I don't think he's real. Exactly. Exactly. Just a bunch of nonsense. Now, you might think it's a stretch for me to take a concept like malice and try to attribute that ruinous power and that belief system to my Vox broadcast rival, Cyrus Amani. You're going to say, Adrian Pius, you have attributed all sorts of things to Cyrus Amani that don't make any sense. You say that Cyrus Amani is in league with the Tau when Cyrus Amani served in the Lagan campaign against the Tau. How can he possibly endorse their points of view? And how could he also endorse the view of malice if he, like, that doesn't make any sense? None of what Cyrus Amani says aligns with a nihilistic worldview. And I counter that everything I say is right and everything I don't like is bad, and Cyrus Amani needs to be that figurehead of everything that I say is bad. Otherwise, we're going to get confused here. And I don't like confusion or thinking. And neither do my audience, right? Who doesn't like thinking? Nobody likes thinking. Nobody likes pondering. Nobody likes finding solutions. The easiest thing to do is keep doing what you're doing and blame other people. Come on now. There we go. We got another one. There's such they're talking about probably Cyrus Amani too, but they're such losers that they forgot that by existing they defeat their own point. Exactly. I would love to see Malice at like a cultist membership drive. Join us so there can be more of us so we can make less of existence. Nonsense. And to think that this is wholeheartedly endorsed by Cyrus Amani. All right, so let's we've been going on for a while. Let's talk about what's been going on today. We've discussed the Plague Wars, and really that exemplify the failure of the McCragg nanny state. That they basically brought the Indomitus Crusade to an end, so that Gilliman had to go bail out his failed nanny state. How much money had to be poured into that to keep it floating? Ignoring the fact that they were victorious and struck a blow against the ruinous powers, I still choose to characterize this as a failure on the part of political ideologies that I don't agree with, rather than characterizing it as a victory over overwhelming odds that was achieved through great sacrifice and struggle on the part of Gilliman and his sons. All right, so we did that. I made that clear. I have discussed why Cyrus Amani and Kevon Jones are clearly in cahoots and why they're losers, and why this show is the only real Voxcast in the galaxy worth listening to. It's simple here. We've talked about abhuman rights and how the radicals are trying to change the role of abhumans in human society. They're not humans, they're abhumans. If they were human, we'd treat them as human, but they're abhumans, so we treat them the way abhumans are supposed to be. And if they don't like it, they're clearly servants of chaos. And I don't want to hear any nonsense that our mistreatment of them drives them towards chaos, or that our mistreatment of them makes it so that it's hard to utilize them and take advantage of the talents that these abhumans have. That implies that human beings aren't perfect as is, ignoring the fact that we have to create superhumans to protect us in the Astartes. We're gonna ignore that because it's inconvenient. That we're just going to use that to say that Cyrus Amani and his crowd want to make everything equal, and by that they want to make everything the exact same. Ogren professors and rattling sprinters and rattling tree trimmers. I don't know. That's the kind of thing they want. We have talked also about the different groups in the galaxy and why they're all wrong. The Ruinous Powers, why they're wrong. Malice, why he's wrong. All of it. All of why everyone's a loser except for me. Everyone who is not me or thinks the way I do is a loser. Right? Now, someone might say that, Adrian, Pius, you're behaving in a hypocritical manner because you employ rattling chefs and ogren bodyguards when you travel around the galaxy, and it's hypocritical for you to speak poorly of abhumans when you employ them and pay them much less than their full human counterparts. Well, that just means you're wrong and stupid, clearly. All right, so we talked about that. Again, tally mark for Adrian Pius, 0 donut for Kevon Jones and for Cyrus Amani. And we have talked about the importance of dealing with crippling debt by utilizing the Adrian Pius certified guaranteed authorized debt consolidators, and also making sure that everyone knows about the importance of the Adrian Pius bubbleizer, never fail bunkers, in investing in the value of investing in plasteel. We've covered everything. We are coming up with solutions to the galaxy's problems. And yeah, I think we've solved everything. We have really gone through every single thing. Now, people will say, well, Adrian Pius, clearly that doesn't solve everything. There are still problems in the galaxy. Are you just going to stop having a Voxcast show? Are you done? Have you solved everything? Never underestimate the likes of Cyrus Amani and all of the losers of the galaxy to make up new problems for me to have to come in and solve for everyone else. So for everyone who was called in, the Lord Space Marine, Old Man Skeletal, everyone who is called in to give their opinion that agreed with me, I thank you. Make sure that you all are fully stocked on your Adrian Pius merchandise so that you will be able to survive everything that the grim darkness of the far future can throw at you. And I'm going to go back to figuring out new ways to take down my Vox casting rivals. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for protecting the system and making sure that the Xenos and heretic threats have been deflected from the station, and that I can still provide you all with the high quality Vox casting that you have come to expect from Adrian Pius, voice of the Imperium. Thank you all for listening to the show. Good night, and I wish you all the best of luck, unless you're one of the loser groups that I don't like. This is Adrian Pius signing off. All right, Pat. Yep, I think that was a good one. Pat. Yeah. Yep, they really are a bunch of losers. What do you mean? I didn't. No, I did. I clicked it. Click what? Click that? All right, I'm clicking it. I'm clicking it. They didn't hear it. I know. I was talking quietly. I was clearly talking quietly.